Hey everybody, welcome back. This is another Gravity Ace development stream, and I'm going to do some art, I think, today. Just trying to get back into it, starting off 2021, kind of 9 days late, but whatever. I just need to, I've taken a long break. So I took basically starting the week of Christmas off, the following week off, the week after that off. There's a lot of momentum built up behind that break, and getting back into it is going to be a process, but hopefully I'll be back into it after today. So I'm going to ease into it by doing some art today, I think. I'm going to start working on this guy. Maybe we'll do some work on this sound effect too. We'll see. We'll see. Just need to get my system set up here real quick. Got the old trusty drawing tab. Yeah. All right. So what I wanted to do, is work a little bit on some different environments, some different colors for the walls, and I'm not sure what they're going to look like. Just going to do a little experimenting and see what comes out. And maybe we'll throw it all away. We'll see. I do that sometimes. Yeah, perfect. Should have had that set up earlier. Like I said, getting back into it. No. Okay. So I've got this wall texture. And here's what it looks like in the game. Let me show you that real quick. So you see it here. This is what it looks like in the game. And it repeats. It's a seamless tiling texture. It also does what I think is kind of a neat thing, where you see how the texture kind of keeps going. It continues onto these other pieces. And here you can see it. It's kind of seamless even across different pieces. And the way it does that is the texture is mapped by a shader into world coordinates, not local coordinates. So you can see it better here in the editor. If I move this around, so the geometry moves, but the texture doesn't move. And that way when they overlap, it's like they're one piece. Anyway, that all comes out of this. So what I want to do is experiment, try some different colors, try some different patterns, and yeah, just see what happens. How big is this thing? Wow, it's big. Hey, Dwarf Ninja. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you too. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Been glued to the TV the last couple days. Crazy. Mm. 1,000 pixels doesn't seem very big, but for this game, it's pretty big because the whole game itself is only 640 by 360. And most of my textures are something like 32 pixels or 64 pixels at most. I wonder if this is even the right tool for, well, I think it is. Let's see. There's a way to do this. Yeah. Yeah. So it's got this tiled mode where it takes the center thing, takes your texture, and it can tile it horizontally or vertically or both. And it does that by tiling it a couple extra tiles in each direction. One extra tile in each direction, just so you can see how it wraps. It's kind of handy. Yeah, it's good to take some days off, but then it's hard coming back from those days off. Let's try. So this texture is neat because it's got all this kind of grit in it. I'm just trying to refresh my memory here. It has 1, 2, 3 colors, 4 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. And it's predominantly the red tones. I used these and this orange. Yeah. So maybe I'll go for maybe use these tones for a level, for a texture, and see how that looks. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, I do create all the assets myself. All the art anyway. And the sound effects. Although for the sound effects, I mix them myself. I use a sound effects library. I draw all the art myself. I do all the programming myself. And the music I outsourced, and the level creation I outsourced as well. The level design. Music was made by Droopy Music, and the levels were made by Peter Doria. All right, I'm just going to delete and see what happens. Let's just try it and see what happens. Yeah, so you can see how that repeat works. That way you can guarantee it's going to tile correctly. Let me switch to, yeah. It's kind of interesting, maybe. Max. How you doing, Max? Let's do this. Let's start with the base. Just fill that in. Oops. And then try doing... Oh no, this thing just frees up on me. Aseprite is really sort of not the most stable app when you're working with bigger art. Working on a new wall texture, Max. You recognize that? That's the red textures I've got right now. I want to work on... Actually, maybe I shouldn't work on blue. I should work on green first. I'm trying to come up with some complementary textures. And something that would look good with the red. Yeah. Well, I mean, it could be for a new biome. So, yes. Perhaps it's for a new biome. God, I'm not feeling the green. I'm going to go back to the blue. But I don't know that I really want to restrict anybody to, like I don't want to say, in the level editor I've been thinking about this. I don't know if I want a biome selector in the level editor and then it changes all the assets to match that biome. Oh, I feel a sneeze coming. I think what I'm gonna do is just let you choose whatever assets you want, and if you want to, which I intend to do probably for some levels, is make sure I choose matching assets for a biome. But in other places, maybe there'll be a mixture. Kind of maybe transition levels between biomes where it's kind of a mixture of both. I don't know. And then some of these landforms could be used as decoration in like a predominantly red level, might have some blue walls just to mix things up a little bit. Yeah, random generation, definitely. I get that. In fact, I have a list. Let me show you. Hold on, as soon as my cursor comes back. Jeez Louise. Come on. There we go. What do we have here? The next game. Ideas for the next game. These are my guiding tenets. I want to do procedural generation with no handmade levels. I want infinite replayability around a core loop, right? So it's already sounding very roguelike-y, right? I want to prefer systems over story and yeah, systems over story. That's a concise way of saying basically I prefer, what I've learned from making games, in this game in particular, is that I prefer making systems. I prefer making simulations and, making all the pieces of a world come alive and then putting them together and seeing what happens. And this game is almost that, except I have handmade levels. And if I devoted myself to procedural levels, then I think this game would have been more in line with this. I just didn't think for this particular game I could pull off procedural levels that would be fun to play. So I didn't do that. This style of game, I think it would have been tough. But the next game I'm thinking I need to design it in a way where procedural levels make more sense. Maybe something more linear, more straightforward. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I do like arcade games, kind of a bullet hell feel, but not necessarily what bullet hell enthusiasts might call a bullet hell linear. And these are some examples, right? Nuclear Throne is a great one. Tempest, Blue Max. These are all old games, but Jupiter Hell's a new one that's, along these lines. Enter the Gungeon. You can kind of just pick them up, play them for a little bit. You can play them in 10-minute chunks. They're different every time. And like you take a game like Jupiter Hell, for example, and what they've done is they've created monsters that behave a certain way. They've created actions the player can take. They've created weapons in the game that work a certain way, potions and pickups and buffs and debuffs and stuff that all work a certain way. And then they just throw them into a blender, mix it up on each run, right? That's kind of what I want to do. So I did this racing game prototype back in November, and that was fun. That one introduced me to 3D. It was small. Not much interest from people, which is fine. And I don't know. It was fun to make, but I don't, and it has some of these feels in it, but it's not something I'm going to pursue, I don't think. And then these other ones, I don't know. This one just, my mind is always on this one's always on my mind. Right on Bungling Bay. I loved that game so much. And that game would fit all of these. It would be great for it. Some kind of bullet hell would be fun. Something Nuclear Throne like would be fun. Blue Max was an interesting game, but this aspect of it makes me, I'm not sure. This one would be fun. This is like a stealth tactics kind of a game, but not, I'd hesitate to say tactics because it's not like grid-based movement or anything. It was all freeform. To what degree do you plan to do procedural generation? I don't know. I don't know yet. Maybe something more like Gungeon, but I don't know. I mean, my instinct is just to do it fully, like Minecraft, where everything is just procedural and there's no, big pieces that made by hand. But I don't know. It depends on the game. I'll have to prototype it and see how it works. I just haven't decided what prototype I want to work on next. Time's been a little tight lately. Anyway. Hey, Baba. How you doing? Happy New Year. Let's see. Let's try this again. Oh, crap. I did it again. If this tool freezes up every time I do a flood fill, I wonder what's causing that problem. It might be the scaling in the UI. I'm going to try turning that off. All right, so that's an interesting, fun shape. And then I can do like this. How come that's not working the way I expect? Why are those colors all wrong? If I make a brush and delete this color, oh, that's working. Okay, now it's working. That was weird. I think I need this. Yeah. Now it looks like I have two shades of color, but really, or three colors here, but really there's only two. Let's see if I can make this faster. Oof. I don't know if turning off the scaling is going to make it work better. Man, I can't even see it. It doesn't work for my eyes. trying to figure out what's my theme here for this. I'm not sure. I think I just need to get this into the game. And then think about, and then once I see it in the game, I can start seeing how I feel about it. And maybe that will tell me something about what direction I want to take this in. Because I'm just not sure right now. Let's just save that. We'll call that wall texture blue. Like that. Happy 2021, doing good. You did the first half gravity. It's very cool. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Am I going to be doing the music? You mean for this or for the next game? Because for the next game, I think, yes, I'm going to be doing the music. I'm not sure. Nothing's decided. But it's always been my hope to make one myself, right? Without any outside help. And that's unrealistic. But I would like to do one, I think. Even though it's impractical, I would like to do one without any outside help. And part of the reason I want to do this procedural thing is because I think that would be more accomplishable. Because I'm good at the programming part. All right, let's see. How do we do this? How do I get this in the game? I need a select box here. And so to do that, I need to remind myself how I get a select box into my level editor, because I don't remember. There it is, array. So if the property type has to be an array, and then it will create a option button. Wait, is this only for adding signals? Oh, yeah. Unimplemented crap. All right, so we got to implement this. So the way the property editor works is it examines these exports, and then depending on the value, or depending on the type, it creates the appropriate UI. And I want it to do an option button, which is a button you select that gives you some choices. And to do that, I need to have a way to pass it the values that would go into it. Integer, array. And I've implemented it for signals, signal buttons. So I can copy some of this code probably. Option button. Where does it even get the values for the option button? Oh, there it is. You want to take all the glory? No sharing of the glory. The spoils will be mine. Oh yeah, collaborating super hard. Collaborating is hard. I don't like other people after about 2 hours of close contact. Yeah, I get that. Hell is other people, right? Why did I decide to go for dynamically typed instead of static typed in Godot? Well, I didn't really decide. When I started the project, static type wasn't an option, A. But B, dynamically typed is the default. And I use static typed sparingly when I feel like it benefits from it. A lot of times there's no benefit, I don't think. If you're writing some throwaway function like a loop or something, and you're never using that variable ever again, it doesn't, I don't, it's just extra stuff you got to type. But I do use it here and there. Do I even want what kind of UI do I even want? Let's see. Let me go into the level editor and see what we got here. Right. I've got that. Got that. Uh-huh. Right. So if you select, let's see. I did that, say. Then this guy, I can add, I can select, and it gets these codes. I think this drop-down box is kind of what I want. I'm not sure how to pass the values in. Is there a way to define an export where it gives you the values? Where you give it the values, the range of possible values? Export variables. I think that there is, actually. Godot 4 looks to have a lot of performance benefits from static typing. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, if it's faster, yeah, definitely. That would be a good reason to use it, right? My game, this game. Ah, look at that. You can pass in like an enum. Okay, so this is what I want. Export named enum. Okay. Interesting. I think I'll go with this one. Zero, 1, and 2. Or you can use a named enum. Let's try this one and see where that gets us. Yeah, this game though, it's running 700 frames per second, so it doesn't need any performance optimization. It would be faster if I use static typing. If I switch to 4.0, maybe it would be faster, but it's already running at 700 frames per second, so nobody will know but me. Let's do that array, and let's do red, ice blue. And we'll call it I don't know if I want to give it such a loaded word. Let's call it theme. Set theme. And let's find set background, because I want to put these functions near each other because they're, kind of related. Set theme value. And then I think I just want it to do set background And then I can put all the work in here. All right, let's call this, why is it still red? Expected type for export. Expected type for export. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. What if I did that? Okay, whatever. So I don't want an array type. I want a string type or an int type. I want a basic type. Foreground texture. Okay, so I think I want this to be a map or an array. Yeah, like that. And these ints, right? This will be 0, this will be 1, this is 0, this is 1. They'll map, right? Correctly. And then I gotta change where I use this to be like that. No. Like that. So if I change the theme, it sets the theme, and then it calls set background. Set background takes its value, blah, 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 finds the right texture. The default for this will be 0. Does that work? Hey, that works. Making minuscule changes that no one will notice but makes you feel better. Yeah, that is kind of my mode a lot of times, but I have to break myself out of that, right? I want to make changes that people notice. And, you know, you got to ruthlessly cut your to-do list, right? Yeah, go ahead. I'd love to see it. I think I read this one. Yeah, I must have read this one. How faster is it? I mean, that's significant. I mean, this might all boil down to a few frames per second faster. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. If 4.0 ever comes out, I'm kidding. They'll release it one day. I plan to start my next prototype, you know, in this version of Godot 3.23. I'll upgrade it to 4.0 though as I go. This game though, it's probably going to be on the 3.2 branch forever. All right, so I've got red, I've got ice blue, I've got 2 different textures. The code's all working. Let's see if the prop editor does what I think it should do. If I added an int, it's not. So, it's taking the extra property hint as values, min max values in step. So this won't work right. See, like, how do you differentiate between this and this? I guess it's just by the type of these values. But maybe if you pass in strings like this, then maybe this API returns a different hint. Let's just see what happens. Let's put a break right there and see what happens. All right, step over and look at values. It's a string array. Interesting. Okay. If it's a pool string array. All right, so that's what I want to do. I want to check. Stop this. I've forgotten how to do all this stuff. So, like, it's trying to do something with it, right? But it's doing the wrong thing. Whereas this guy, step over, it's also a pool string array. Right, with the contacts. So I can't tell them apart. Pool string array with a 1 and 6. Oh, it's because... okay. It's because I'm doing the split. I'm always returning a pool string array. I need to look at prop hint. Prop. Name, class name, type, hint, hint string. Usage 8199. I don't think that one matters. Maybe it does. We'll see. No, see, that won't tell you apart. Type 2, hint 3. Type 2, hint 3. I'm not even sure what that means. And this one's type 2, hint 1. Hint. Nope. Get property list. Each property's dictionary contains name, string, type, int. It also includes hint. See property hint. Hint 1 is a range. Ah, hint enum. So I can tell them apart by the hint. this is a hint range, and this is a hint 3, which is a hint enum. Okay. That's what I want. All right, so if I go back in here and say if prop.hint is a property hint enum, then do this, else I'm going to assume it's a range. No, let's not assume it's a range. If prop.hint equals property hint range, then do this. All right, so if it's an enum, then if it's a range, I want to do that type of input, and if it's not, I want to do a option button input. And I'm going to take those values from the hint string and do for the in values input dot add item v, like that. I think that's it. Hey, Bleeding Plaid. How you doing? You can see into the matrix now. All right, so now I click that. Let me turn off this breakpoint. Yeah, I only want that in there. Like that. One thing I love about Godot here is that it's breaking on these errors, but I can just tell it keep going, and it just pretends like the error didn't happen and it keeps going. So this works still. And if I go in here, what am I getting? I get index value, input.value. Okay. Let's do that as well. I might be able to reuse this one for the other type, but we'll see. Look at that. Pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop, pop. Okay, so walls have a theme now, but the code isn't working because the signal isn't connected. What signals do option buttons have? Focused, item selected, that's the one I want. Item selected with the index. So, I do want to copy this. But the thing is going to be item selected. Prop name, input. Label, yeah. I'm gonna look up this, make sure that I can take the right value. Change signal value. change value. All right, let's try that. I'm going to put a breakpoint right here, and then we'll just trace through this change value function as it gets called and see what happens. Do I have value? I do. It's correct. And I have prop, which is theme, correct. So it'll set this on the wall. It'll set theme to 1. And look at that, it worked. Let me turn off this. All right. Doesn't look right. Doesn't look right at all. But it's doing something. Red. It's reverting. It's not recalling its value. It's one piece of code I didn't put in there. I need to do input dot select. Okay. If v equals prop.value, then input.select. How do I get the index number? I wish this had a better API. I can select by an index only. I wish I could select by value. That's fine. Just work with what I got. 0. Like that. Like that. So I'm keeping track of an index as I'm adding values. And although, actually, maybe I can simplify this. This should actually be the theme of the property. It should just be that. Yeah. What? Values. Target. Do I not have a value here? Ah, that's the value. Yeah, so I'm getting the theme value from the wall object. So that's red, that's blue, red, blue, red, blue. See that? So now it's remembering its value. All right. Now, let me draw one more and delete you. Draw one over here and change that to ice blue. Ooh, what happens if I join them? Oh, interesting. What if I go this way? Okay. That's fine. I can live with that for now. I'm not sure what the correct thing to do is. Let me save this in my test folder. ECYDBB. It's this guy. So now we can look at the level data and make sure it's saving it in a way that I expected. Wall theme 0, wall theme 1. Perfect. Hyperbore is 0, Lacus is 1. Lacus is 1, Hyperbore is 0. 0 is red, 1 is blue. All right, so that's all working. I don't know why this isn't looking right. Maybe I have to reload it. No. It's weird. That's 1024 by 1024. That's wall texture blue. Wall texture red. Feels so laggy. That feels laggy too. I don't know, my computer's probably just doing too much stuff right now. But that should be okay. .1024 by 1024. Preloading everything. I wonder if I have to recompile the shader or reset the shader, update the shader. I don't think I would need to. Why is there no material here? Oh, it's on the shape. So that's the default texture. What if I reverse this? Let's see. Let's do that. Weird. What is happening? What if I made the wall texture default 1? It's like the coordinates are off. I'm just doing something silly, probably. Because that works. That works fine, right? That's changing the texture and it works fine. Oh, maybe I know what it is. It's the import. So let's look at this. So here's the red texture, import. See, I've got repeat enabled, but this blue one I didn't. Let's enable it and re-import it and see if that fixes it. Red background and blue background. Yes. Okay. Just need to enable repeating texture. What am I doing? Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. It's like shining a flashlight, the way these global coordinates work. I think I've got a bug in the shader though, because see these artifacts here? They don't look right to me. I'm seeing patterns that shouldn't be there. That's fine. I'll leave that for another day. Okay, so that's working. Good. Let me open up my test level again. Yep. All right, let's open up my default test level and then add some decoration here. So if I add a wall, oops, if I add a wall and make it icy and just mix it in there, how does that look? Let's jump in and play it. Hey, Judd, Valiant Cheese. Pew pew, good morning. Archaeologist Raymond says, hey guys, how's it going? All right. Okay, so right away, here's a problem. Look, so the outline's the wrong color. Right? The outline should match the theme of it, right? And also the dust is the wrong color. This should be kicking up kind of blue icy particles, not red dust. Yeah, I mean, and aside from all that, you see these patterns in there too? You can see them, right? Might be hard to pick up on the stream, but there's all these patterns appearing in here. And I think that's a artifact of the shader not quite doing its offset correctly. I don't like them. I need to fix that. But the dust and the outline. So the outline's going to be easy to fix. Let's see. The outline should be easy to fix. The outline color will just be a function of, here it is, of the texture. Or the theme, right? So maybe I actually do want this to be a map. And this will be texture. A map of arrays. And the what? Outline. The outline will be this color. What is even this color? That's weird. I'm checking this outline variable. Okay. Okay, so I want this color, which is that red. Or I want to use this color. This color. 124E89. Am I using the right syntax? Should that be like that? No. Oh no, I have this backwards. I want a array of hashes, not a hash of. Had it backwards. There we go. And then I need to change foreground texture, theme dot texture. And draw will be foreground texture dot or theme dot outline. That. Whew. I was deep in thought. Where are my ships at? Laser impact areas. Yeah. Ooh, 3 tips to new intermediate developers. What 3 tips would you give? Oh yeah, go ahead and drop a link. Yeah, that's got great tips. There's 100 of them. Yeah, there's 100 of them. You should definitely go check it out. It's a 44-minute long video. I haven't watched the whole thing yet myself. But yeah, there's a bunch of good tips in there. My tip was basically, God, what was it? My tip was basically, don't worry about the first draft of anything. It's going to be crappy. Everything cool that you see from anybody is not the first draft. It would be really rare and bizarre if the cool stuff that you saw was the very first draft. It's not, it doesn't work that way usually. So my tip is just keep at it, you know. Keep at it. Don't worry about the first draft. You're going to refine it and refine it and refine it. It gets better and better and better. So many people quit when they put something down and they see it, they don't like it. And they stop, right? Because it's gross or whatever. They don't like it. But the truth about it is that everybody's like that. Everybody puts the first hour of working on anything. You know, like this blue texture I've got. I don't like it, but it's just my first draft. It's fine. I've got a placeholder in there. I'm playing around with it. I'm fixing bugs around it. I'll go back and redraw it probably 10 more times before I'm sort of happy with it. Don't give up. And it takes time. All right, so now we've got blue. Blue outline. Pop, 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 pop. Red outline. And yeah, this outline is the outline mode for the ghost. Red, blue, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so now a little refactoring because I don't like this name. Foreground texture is the wrong name for this variable. This should be themes. And this should be a property of the theme as well. And for right now, I'm going to use the same background texture for both of these. I can get rid of that. So now I've got this themes variable. So foreground texture becomes themes, right? Themes. And background texture becomes themes BG, like that. Background texture is no longer in there. Foreground texture is no longer in there. All right. So theme 0 is those. Theme 1 is those. Theme 0 is red. Theme 1 is blue. Yeah, that looks good. So I could come up with a background version of the wall of this blue texture like that. Yeah, this is all data driven now, so it's nicer. Now I can just update the textures, add the data, and it just works. The dust is going to be trickier because right now the dust is a property of the ship. So what I want to do is move the dust into its own scene and then reference it here. I think I want to change the name of this too. I'm going to change this to border and border like that because I have this outline variable and I don't want them to get mixed up. They're used for different purposes, but they have the same name. It's just confusing. And I'm going to put a note here. And the only reason I'm adding a comment here is because I was just confused about what this was. I didn't know what it was. So I'm adding a note here because if that happens again, now I'll know. This is just a reminder to myself. This is used for the paintbrush outline. This should be a property as well. Let's do BG border and like that. There. This one can stay the same because it's only used for those brush outlines when you're painting this thing, this blue thing. And that's always going to be just that color. It doesn't depend on the texture or the theme or anything. It's static. These can change. And I can choose to have them be different, or I can choose to have them be the same. It's all this data. And then I can add more themes, right? If I added a green zone theme, right? I just add another set of these right in there. I'm not going to do that right now. All right. Ooh. Handsome and talented. Front load your unknowns. Exploring and understanding those first lets you understand and navigate your project with more confidence. Yeah. Yeah. I think I get that. I think I understand what you're talking about there. Like I just started this project where I'm making an app for shoot, what do I call it? I'm creating this app for managing ideas. So it's not a to-do list. It's just an idea board. And I'm writing it in a new framework that I didn't really understand. It's all web-based, Node.js, TypeScript, Electron, JavaScript, blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of stuff I didn't know how to do, like, because I've never built an app that way before. I didn't know how to load and save files. And I didn't know how to set configuration values or where to put the configuration. And I didn't know how to do the drag and drop. So one of the first things I did was just create this app skeleton. And then I wrote some placeholder dummy code to do some loading and saving, so I had to understand how that works. And then I figured out how to get a canonical path to where the configuration data should be saved. And then I figured out how to serialize my, just configuration settings. I don't even know what the configuration settings are going to be, but I figured out how to serialize them and deserialize them. And once I knew all of that, now in my mind, I have all the parts. I know how to do every part of it. Now I just need to put them all together and build the thing. Oh, my back. My old back. Oh, you know what? We're not playing any music. I feel so out of practice. Should I use G? Muse? There it is, Audacious. There we go. Is that too loud? Yeah, you implement a lot of quick and dirty systems to get it up and running. Yeah. This is something, that's super important, right? Like you don't want to spend, like, you want to make a game, right? Like these prototypes, this last prototype I made, for example, it had a bunch of stuff in it, 3D, all this stuff. But I wanted to get the prototype up and running quickly because I didn't know if it'd be any fun. I wanted to show people the idea because I didn't know if people would like it. And so, yeah, it's super quick and dirty. It's terrible. The code's awful. It's really bad. Let me show you. It's this. Go. Here we go. Right? It's this. I just wanted to show this. And see, I think there's a first person view. I don't remember any of the controls. I've already forgotten everything about this prototype. Oh, whatever. You can speed up, you can slow down. There's a first person view. I don't know. But the code's terrible. It's mostly in here. See, like, I mean, first of all, this tree is terrible. I wouldn't organize the game like this in real life. And then the code in here. I mean, look at physics process. It just goes on and on. Garbage. Terrible. This code could all be rewritten. It's not so bad, but there's just a ton of magic numbers in here. Look at this. But it's fine because I just wanted to get something working and understand what I'm doing and then show it to people as quickly as possible. And I think I wrote this over, I don't know, I want to say like 24 hours. Not all in a row, but, 5-6 hours here, 5-6 hours there. And then just built the thing as quickly as I could, And if I were to take this into a real game, this file would probably end up being 5 or 6 different files, and this tree would look completely different. And there'd be a lot of different optimizations and all this stuff, but none of that matters. Like if I'd spent 30 hours optimizing some loop, but then after I showed it to people, they said, yeah, who cares? This is a dumb game. Then it had just been wasted time. Yeah, I agree with that too. Games are 100% illusion. And it doesn't matter. One of my favorite stories, I don't know if this is true or not, but one of my favorite stories, and I don't remember the game, is they needed trains in the game or subways. And so what they did was they took a human character controller and just put him below the level where you couldn't see him and made the train his hat. Oh, was that Half-Life? Yeah, okay. So that makes sense. I love that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of that kind of stuff in here, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but there is stuff like that. Nothing that creative. All right, so I've got, let's run this and see where I'm at, because I've got the colors. Right. And it's got the correct outline. Everything's working. I can add on. Beautiful. Hey, Dwarf Ninja. Thank you very much. Very nice of you. I appreciate it. Oh, we got 10 people in here. I should fire up the old space battle. Where is it? Told you guys I'm out of practice. Here it is. Old space battle incoming. All right. Chat to join and your ship will spawn in. These are AI controlled ships. All right, so I think then what I want to work on next is... Oh, shot in the back. Max is the king. Yeah, sorry, Max, that doesn't work anymore. The ships are completely AI controlled now. What you do is you just you spawn them in by chatting, and that's it. You lose control after that. And I need to make them a little more intelligent so they don't get stuck in corners and stuff. Well, you don't have... Oh, I was just about to say you don't have the crown, but you do now. With 4. Good lord. These little... the little AI for this thing is going to be... It's the first nugget of the AI for the local multiplayer game that I want to add into this. You and a friend can play PvP, you know, one-on-one against each other, and, you know, be a kind of a simple arena, gravity well, flying around, shooting each other. But if you don't have a friend to play with, you can play against the computer, and this AI will be is the very, very beginning of that AI. It needs to be better than it is. Now let's move this. So I think next I need to work on the dust. All right, so the outlines work. Yeah, that's all working. It's just the dust is the wrong color, so I need to refactor my dust. But before we do that, let's do a commit. Ooh. What have I done? I've left this in a messy state, is what I've done. Look at that. I haven't made it a commit since a couple days after Christmas. But I was doing something. Oh, I changed my ghost shader a little bit. Okay, so I was working on the level chooser. Throw that away. I don't need that. Let's just take these things one at a time. Updated Nakama username logging. Boring, so I'm marking that private. That won't end up in the change log, the public change log. That's on my new wall stuff. What is this? What is this? Resource name. I don't even know what this means. I think I can throw this away. Texture rectangle. Texture rectangle resource 3. I don't know what that is. I think this must be some editor nonsense that I don't need. I'm going to throw it away. This is just a comment. Okay, that is a... That's a coroutine thingy. I'm cleaning up some asynchronous function there. This is the same thing. Oh, I added a to-do manager. These are all to-do manager stuff. I added a to-do manager plugin. I should ignore that folder. Game add-ons to-do manager. Let's ignore that. Okay. What is in this? This actually goes with the last commit. That's fine. Cleaned up async. No. Fixed async return value check. Added to-do manager add-on. Named dialog node class. And this is just some artistic changes to the ghost shader. Added scan lines to the ghost shader. All right, and this is new ice blue wall theme. All right, I know. This is what I get for leaving it so long between commits. But now I'm all caught up. Nice and tidy. Up. This to-do manager, by the way, I don't know if I'm going to use it or keep it, but it adds this. And you can click it and see all your to-dos and fix-me's and whatever. And when you click them, it takes you to that code. Maybe it'll be cool. I don't know. I'm definitely finding to-dos that I'd forgotten that I had in here. Yeah, so I'll probably go through it at some point, but I got it from the asset lab. Yeah, I like to review every commit just to make sure. It's like my final quality check to make sure that what I think I'm doing is what I'm actually doing. All right, so then I think I want to tackle that dust next. And I think the dust is in the ship. And the reason I put it in the ship is because, you know, only the ship makes the dust. There it is. Oh, it is already a scene. That's nice. So the ship makes the dust. right? It makes this, which is a couple of particle systems all doing their thing. I've got just general dust flying around. Then I've got a left, I've got a right. And the reason I have it in the ship is because I only had one kind of dust before, but also because the ship is what's casting rays down until it hits a wall. And depending on the wall it hits, or where it hits the wall and the angle, the normal and everything, that's where it creates the dust scene, or moves the dust to. But I think what I'm going to need... this actually gets kind of tricky now, because the way I'm doing it right now is I just have this one dust scene. I'm moving it around. And I either show it or I hide it. And I turn off whether it's emitting or not. Actually, I don't hide it. I just turn off whether it's emitting. So because it's just the one dust, if you went into a situation where I was changing the color of it, and here it's up on red, and then I turn real fast and now it's on blue, but you've got red dust and blue dust showing at the same time. If I just change the color of the particle system, I think it's going to change the color of all the particles, even the red ones to blue, or the blue ones to red. So I need to re-architect how this works. And I think what I need it to do is actually, rather than move this dust scene around and say it's emitting or not, I need to actually instantiate the dust scene, a unique one, each hit. And that uniquely instantiated dust scene can be themed correctly for the environment that it's hitting. And I think I can leave this cast dust rays here in the ship. And it can get the theme from the wall. That's what this is. This contact collider is the wall that it's hitting. So I can get the theme from there to see which type of dust I need to instantiate. Do I have a link to the... no, I don't. It's just in here. If you go to Asset Lib, I think I just searched for to do. It's this one. And then you can just hit download and it installs it into your add-ons folder in your project. Easy peasy. Yeah. I didn't look at this one. I'm sure it's fine. I think I probably clicked on both. This one, the screenshots didn't work, so then I clicked this one. And the screenshots worked, so I installed this one. That's all. Okay, so let's do this. Let me look at wall. And I'm going to add a dust. And I'm just going to add a... How does preload work? I don't want to load too many of these scenes. I don't want to load them dynamically every single time I need one, and I don't want to use a lot of memory loading them. Preload, loads resources as early as possible, front load the loading and avoid loading resources, blah, 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 blah. When does preloading occur? It spawns when the script object loads. Script is preloading, blah, 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 blah. Preloading allows the script to handle all the loading. I want to know, does preloading only load, if you have the same preload in multiple instances, does it still only load at one time? It's loaded during the script parsing. I think each instance shares the same script, so they should all share the same preload. I'm just going to try it and see if it does what I think it does. So I think what I'm going to have here is, yeah, it should only load it once, right? You'd think. It must maintain a cache internally. So I'm going to have red dust like that, and I'll have blue dust like that, and then I'll do a constant red dust preload. Do I have this on my clipboard? No. Can I copy this path? No. Copy node path. Does that do what I want? No. Rats. Where is this? Resource ship ground dust TC. Okay. Right. And ice dust. Right now I'm just going to keep them the same. And this will be ice dust. And I'm going to rename this to dust red, dust ice, okay. Let's see. So that's fine. So then this code would change to if it's a wall, then I'm going to get the theme will be contact.collider.theme. No, let's do get dust. Get dust scene. So much bad typing. So I'll need an API here for that. Get. This will return themes, theme, dust. Right? So then I can just say dust dust.instance dust.show. No. Yeah. I can do all this same stuff, basically. Don't need that. I don't need that. So I get the dust scene, instance it, da-da-da, add child dust. I can probably get rid of that because of the way I'm doing it now. I don't like that how that's referencing itself. I should use... Well, let's not change it right now. That's fine. No, that actually makes sense. It's the distance from itself to the ship position. So this is the distance from itself, the distance from itself to the ship. That's fine. All right, so now this ground dust scene, well, first of all, I can remove it from here because I'm going to be instantiating it globally. Yeah, so this should be emitting by default. True. I'll leave this API in here, even though I don't think I need it. So I've created this high-level node holding these particle systems. And on the high level, I just create this API where I can say emitting true, emitting false, and it does all the things it needs to do on the inner objects. So I only interact with the top level one, which is fine. So I'll just set the default to true. And I'm going to set all of these to... That's fine. I'm going to set all these to an explosiveness of like, something high. 0.9, let's say. 0.9. Whoops. And 0.9. And then I want these to work just once. One shot, one shot, one shot. And I'm going to add a timer in here. And this timer will go for 3 seconds. It's a one shot, it's an auto start, and when it times out, I'll do that. Queue free the whole thing. So now the dust, when it's instantiated, it'll poof, wait 3 seconds and die. So I can instantiate as many as I like. I think this will work. Let's see. It's still going to do red dust, but I'm just seeing if my refactoring of the framework for the dust works. No, it doesn't. It doesn't break. But there's no dust at all. What is happening? Let's turn off fuel. Okay, why isn't that working? Okay. It's casting its rays. I want to see if it contacts a wall, though. Yeah, okay, so it thinks it did. Gets the dust object. Gets the scene, then it instances one. Then it sets the global position to the contact position, which we have. Yep. Global rotation, fine. Distance, yes. And then it adds it to the scene. Should run. Unless it's invisible, maybe? Oh, that looks cool. Screenshot. It's weird. It's never even getting into here. Oh, I spelled something wrong? Yeah. Why isn't that doing anything? So I've got dust. Look at all this dust. It's adding it, but I can't see it. Why not? Orphan. It's on. It's emitting. Its timer's wait time is 3. It's not. It hasn't auto started. Why not? You're a one shot. You're not emitting. You're a one shot, not emitting. You're a one shot, not emitting. How about you? Nope, nope, nope. Okay, so they're instantiating into the scene. They're not emitting. That's a problem. it's not calling this for some reason. Maybe I just need to reload this. I can't remember if I reloaded the game after I changed that scene. Let's turn that off. Okay, no dust. But in the remote tree, I've got lots of dust. Not emitting. Not emitting, not emitting, not emitting. But this is emitting. Maybe... You know what it could be is that because this is defaulting to true, when this happens, oh, that's what it is. So when you're calling an object, when you're doing one of these, right, you have setters and getters on a variable. If you're doing it from the object itself, I'm setting this value on this variable from within it itself, its own object. This is its own data. And when you do that, it doesn't call the setter and getter. It only calls the setter and getter if you're calling it from external. So if some other object is calling this object's emitting value and trying to set it, then it'll call the setters and getters. So the way to get it to work that same way internally to itself is to do self. And this makes it behave like an external object is calling into here and changing this value, which will cause this to run. Now it should work. Yeah, there's some dust. Ooh, the dust looks different now, just because of the way I'm instantiating it. It's too much. Too much dust. But it's working. And now I have a framework where I can do different colored dust, different types of dust, depending on what it's hitting. So, the first thing I want to do is turn down the amount. And I can do that in the ship by just saying, I don't want to initiate, I don't want to create dust every frame. Let's say we only want to do it on every 5th frame. This is cast dust rays. It's doing physics stuff, so I'm certain this is being called from the physics process. So this is being called 60 times per second. And in here, and it's a steady 60 frames, right? In here I can say if engine dot, what is it? Frame, get physics frames. If engine.getPhysicsFrames mod 5 equals 0, then do this. So this will do this every 5th frame, I think. It's pretty good. I think I need to turn this way down. That. And then left, I'm going to do way down. Right will do way down as well. Just let's make them both the same. So I'm going to go 0.4 and 0.4 and yeah, why not? Across the board. See how that looks. Yeah, they are currently using the same ID. So I'll create a different scene for that later. But for right now, they're using the same one. I've changed the character of my dust in a way that I don't like. Yeah. I think here's what I need to do. I'm going to change this all back to 0 explosiveness, 0 explosiveness, 0 explosiveness, and I'm going to make it work more like it did before, where I have a timer. Yeah, where I have a timer, right? Although it wasn't a timer before, it was just based on how close you were and how long you were holding it and whatever. So let's do this. I think I might need 2 timers, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to call this the emitting timer, and I'm going to create another one. Call it the death timer. And the death timer will wait for 6 seconds. And then cue free. And the emitting timer is going to wait for 3 seconds. And then it's going to do that. So the dust will come on gradual, just like it did before. After 3 seconds, it's going to stop emitting. And then a little while after that, it's going to cue free. Let's try that. Slacks. Hey. Wow. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it does take too long to disappear. It's running for too long. So these don't need to be, I think I didn't change them, but they need to be not one-shots anymore. Not a one-shot. Not a one-shot, and not a one-shot. And this emitting timer is going to stop after 1 second, and the death timer will stop after 4 seconds, because these last for 3. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Let's see how that looks. I'm trying to get it back to the same character that it had before, but in a different way. Kind of weird. I don't feel like it's turning off right. Maybe this emitting timer should be much, much lower. Like that. And the death timer can be 3. Something like that. That's fine. Let's see. Let's turn on gravity again. What is going on here? Let's turn on gravity and play it. Yeah, that looks better. So it actually should just emit right at the beginning and then turn off almost immediately. 0.1 is ten frames, right? Something like that. Six frames. Let's go 3 frames. I just have a timer for it to start turning off. But I could maybe no. I was thinking I could do something. Well, I'll show you in a minute what I mean. But I think this will be good. Right, so as long as I'm got the engine going there, should just keep creating more dust. Ooh. All right, that is pretty good. That's pretty close to what it was before. Whoa! Now I could instantiate some dust there when that happens too. That would be cool. Couldn't do that before. I think every 5th frame is too infrequent. Let's change that to every... So there's a... Here's the raycast, right? So the ship is doing a raycast down from the engine, and it's doing that just programmatically to see what it's hitting in the physics call. And then if it contacts a wall collider, that's the wall, then every 3rd frame it's going to create a dust. And I could say if this contact isn't colliding with the wall now, then turn off the dust. But because of the way this is instantiating all the dust, to turn them all off, I'd need to keep a reference to every one, turn them all off. So I think I'd rather just say, I'd rather just use a timer and have the dust bloom, and if there's more dust hitting it, it'll just keep making more of them. That's Yeah, anyway. I think that makes sense. So now it should be doing them every third frame. So this is an example of a thing where I notice the difference. I can barely notice the difference. But would a player notice the difference? Would a player even care about the difference, even if they did notice it? And I think the answer to both of those questions is no. Most players are not going to notice the difference, and even if they do, they don't care. The difference is negligible. I think it achieves the same goal as before. Looks good. If I come in hot here, right? That looks cool. Still looks cool. All right. I think that works. So this code is actually a little simpler now than it was. There's less branching, less conditions. I think I want to rename this. I don't like this name anymore. It's only referenced here in the wall scene, so it's easy to rename. I can just change it. Let's call this red dust. And I'll leave it here in ship. Although maybe I should move it. I should move it to wall. I'm going to leave it here for now. And I'll rename this to dust red. And rename that to dust red. Who was that? Motzi makes. Whoa. Hey. Holy crap, there's a bunch of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome. Howdy, howdy. Motzi makes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And welcome. And enjoy. Oh, you know Vim. I see. Yeah, I'm making a game. I'm making this game. And I'm using Godot engine. Since you know Vim, you might be using Construct, I guess. Let's see. Let's do this level. This one's a fun one. What? Hold on, bug. Hey, thanks for the follow. Yeah, I'm making this game. It's a pixel art gravity shooter cave flying arcade game. You blast stuff. It's a side view perspective you're looking at here. You're constantly being pulled down by gravity. When you use the engine, you consume fuel. And you have to make it through these levels, blow everything up, collect fuel, and try not to, get wrecked, crashing into things. And eventually make it to, you can collect fuel from the enemy. Yeah, and you see all this dust, guys? Right there. Like, I'm not even noticing the difference now between the old dust and the new dust. Pretty happy with it. If I hadn't known I just refactored it, I might not have noticed it. Whoa! So this thing's very heavy. Oh my lord. And you've got to get it back out of the level. And it's all physics based, so it's not something under your direct control. And you collect all this extra stuff, all the doots. And then you make it out in one piece. Thusly. I did terrible. I'm gonna get a B. Oh, a C on my own game. I got a C on my own game. Terrible. But yeah, so today I'm just refactoring some stuff, and one of the things I did was added these blue ice walls that you can do. This is the level editor that comes with the game. So now you can turn parts of the terrain blue. And along the way, I discovered, well, you know, they need a blue outline instead of this red outline, and they need blue dust instead of this red dust. So I was refactoring the dust so that I would be able to do that, and now I can. I've got my red dust scene working for both of these, but now I should be able to go in here and create. Just copy this. I could just copy this, right? I can save this as a dust blue, right? And then in here, change this script to be the make it unique, and then resave it as a dust blue script. And then in here, I want to make all these particle systems unique as well. Process material I want to be unique. So I'll make that unique, and make this process material unique, and make this process material unique. That way, if I change the blue, it's not going to also change the red. That's fine. That's fine. These are still connected. Yep, that's good. And I can change the name to blue dust. And then in the ship, no, in the wall, I'll put a reference here. I'll make this blue. Right, so my dust ice is going to be this blue. Let's call that dust blue. I'm going to rename all this stuff again anyway. I'm just trying to... I'm organizing as I go. I'm not really thinking it through too much. So now this will load the blue dust, and the blue dust should be blue, right? So... let's just do... Well, where am I doing that? Where am I doing the color? It's part of this texture. Okay, so these clouds make unique. I can change that to... Yeah, I can use one of my colors here. Not every day you see another Godot dev, and I came in from the raid, but don't already nix the refer equals raid part of the address. I don't know what that means. But thanks and welcome. And you're a Godot developer. What are you making? Let's use this color. 0095E9. 0095E9. So that'll be that. And this one I'm going to make unique. Oh, this one's already, it's just a copy of this one. That's fine. And this, I need a new texture. Let's open up that texture. Let's just do that simple for now. All right. So that's blue, and my red dust should still be all red. Yep. Okay. And I've got that hooked up in my theme. Yeah, I should have blue dust now. Refer raid. I'll look that up. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for the tip. There's my blue dust. And there's my red dust. Look at that. More immersive. So because they're completely different scenes too now, I just copied this dust over, but because these are completely different scenes, I can now make the character of this dust different than this dust. I could make them be more like ice particles or something floating off instead of dust poofs. Like this is red dust poof, right? But this could be like ice shards coming off of it now instead of poofs. And I think I will do something like that. Yeah, that'd be cool. Now that they're individual scenes too, I could even do something like have little sound effects. I don't know. We'll see. I like that. It's like it's just more immersive now. It's less jarring to see blue, you know, this blue stuff coming up from the red or from the blue ground instead of the red stuff. Yeah, that works. All right, let's do one last thing. I'm going to make that explosion spawn some dust of the appropriate type. Maybe I should commit first, though. Fix property, editor bug, level properties. Did I change this? I don't think I did. Undo that. Got my blue, blue, got my new red and red, renamed. My ship changed a little bit and the tree changed a little bit. Got my new textures. And this has the new reference. Yeah. added this. So this will be a comment that goes in the changelog for players. So added icy blue dust to accompany new wall color theme. Icy wall color theme. All right. Yeah, I mean, it could, yeah, I'm thinking that too. Like, it could be, like, I'm picturing these ice walls being covered with snow, and so you're kicking up like a layer of snow, so I'm thinking some white, snowy particles, and maybe some blue shards of ice cracking off and flying out, and maybe spinning away. I think that'd be cool. But now I can do that easily by just changing this dust blue scene. I can do that all in here. And now I've got the framework too for when I add another biome or whatever. You know, this could be, this one could be the green planet, you know, whatever texture. The jungle walls. Volcano walls. I don't know. Robot walls. And then I just choose the color, create some textures, create a new dust scene. It's already wired up and ready to go. All right. So the last thing I think I want to do right now is the destruction thing here. I wonder, how do I know if I've hit a wall? Because I get hurt here. Right. So this body is a wall. That's line 690. So I can instantiate the dust the same way, like this. I put a rec there, and I can also add some dust there. And it's going to be body in this case. I know the body's a wall, so I know it has this. And I don't have a contact position. But it would just, the contact position is going to just be the position that I'm in right now. And yeah. And the normal is going to be this. Let me elevate this out because I'm going to use it in two places. Put it there. And now I can use normal here. To put it there. Okay, so now I should get a poof of dust when it crashes into things. Dust poof. Wreck. Ah, did you see that? Kind of subtle. It looks good though. I like it. Maybe I could put a couple of dusts in. What if we did... Let's put in 3 dusts. And it'll put them at... some random 5 pixel radius. Didn't notice a difference. Let's do a 16 pixel radius. I noticed that. That was better. Die. Yeah, that works. That's cool. I think I like that. Let's do a frame rate check. 344 frames per second. Let's restart this. .500 frames per second, 400 frames per second, 300 frames per second. It's all good. Do I get a drop when the dust appears? Maybe a little. Lots of particles. Here I am at 400, 450. Now I'm at 300, 350. So yeah, these particles do seem to have a significant impact. It's interesting. I don't know, I'll have to keep an eye on that one because going from 450 to 250 is a lot. And even though 250 is more than I need, it's a clue that maybe it's suboptimal in a way because, you know, every little thing adds up. And I might need that 100 frames per second, you know, at some point. I might want to spend that budget, whatever that CPU usage budget is, later on something else. And I won't have it if I'm spending it here on this. And I won't know where that is getting used up later, but I know where it's getting used up today. So I think maybe what I'll do is I'm going to make a note to myself. Well, first of all, let's just confirm. Let's take this out and see if I still get the frame drop. Because if I don't, then it's something else and I don't care. Yeah, so see, there it is, 450, 500, right? And it's not going down when I thrust. It's just staying pretty steady right around the 400, 500 range. And if I put the dust back in, now you see it dropping down to 250. So there's definitely something going on here. Spawning dust causes 100 FPS performance hit. So, like I said, it's not a concern really because I don't need that right now. But later, as I add more stuff, maybe I'll get below 60 frames per second, and then I'll wish I had this 150 back. But I won't know. I'll be like, oh, what's causing? Where can I get some time back? And so by making a note here, I'll know. I can come here and optimize this if I need it later. That. What is this? I don't need that. Okay. Added dust poof when player explodes on a wall. Why do games take so long to make? Because it took me an hour to add a dust poof when a player explodes on a wall. An effect that barely anybody will notice. Professional game development. Oh, we're playing Christmas music. Holy moly. That's gotta go. I gotta delete that Christmas music from my playlist. Thanks for the follow. I hope that's because I am deleting the Christmas music. Deleting the Christmas music and I instantly get a follow. Christmas is over, right? I should be playing, I don't know, something patriotic now. What music do you play in January? Returning Christmas presents music. Boxing Day music. Oh, boy. All right, so I think I can take some stuff off my to-do list. Move it to the to-done. Yes. I'm going to call that done, but I need to add another card to refine. Oops. Refine and polish icy blue wall art and dust particle system. This isn't ever going to happen. This was, so I did an IGDB listing for Gravity Ace, and it turns out, somebody had already done this, but I added a box art, and I was hoping, because Twitch, let me mute this, Twitch does a thing, right, where they show this box art for certain games, right? Cool. And their documentation says they pick up this information from IGDB, and they do, right? Like, but only this. They don't pick up the box art. To do the box art, you have to go through this whole process, and you have to apply and do this stuff, and whatever the process is, it doesn't seem to be working. So I'm just leaving it for now. It's whatever. YouTube has a similar thing, and I asked them. because they create these topics. Ace Gravity. They create topics, right? These auto-generated topics automatically for the game. Auto-generated by YouTube. And I contacted them and said, hey, can I change the box art for this? And they said, no. But thanks for asking. They said, you can't change it because it's auto-generated. I'm like, okay, but what about Among Us?
If you work in a team, you should be...
What about Among Us, I say? Because look, it's auto-generated. But look. And they're like, nah, mumble. So, there's some things out of my control. I've done the best I can. You can at least on Twitch, if you're streaming it, you know, bring up Gravity Ace as the what do you call it? The category. And that's probably as good as it's going to get. So that's done. WearTag, thank you for following. Yeah. Thank you. So, I mean, I have some marketing stuff I need to do. I want to create a new logo for Gravity Ace on Steam. If you go to Steam, jeez. Steam's website just blows. It only works really well from the app. But if you go to the store, right, and you're looking at like, I don't know. Let's browse by this. Right, you see all these listings? I need a better icon for here. Mine just says Gravity Ace. And most of these are mostly logo. You know, mostly Word logo. But I think mine, I don't know. I just looked at it and I was like, you know, it just says Gravity Ace. It doesn't look as exciting as some of these other ones. So that's something I need to do. That's something I want to do. Submitting to the IGF. I don't know. I have a month to decide. I think I probably will. I think it's $75. The money is not a big deal. I don't know. I remember last year's IGF thinking none of those games are like any of the games I make. So my chances of winning anything are probably zero, but it will be visible, right? It'll gain some visibility to writers, journalists, publishers. So maybe it's worth the $75 to submit just to get the visibility. I don't know. It's kind of a pain to submit, so I haven't done it yet. Yes, indeed, the IGF is happening this year. Bop. Oh, wait. Where is it? '21 Independent Games Festival. I don't know if they have a date yet. But you can submit your game. Deadline for entry is February 21st or February 1st, 2021. Finalists will be announced in May. GDC in July. I don't know. Everybody's being super hopeful that we'll all be vaccinated before this happens, I guess. If it doesn't, I think they're being optimistic here. Right? Yeah, exactly. I'm wearing my skepticals as well. This is California, right? The GDC happens in San Francisco. Is that right? And I'm sure you've all heard about the problems California is having right now. Like, don't get sick because there's no hospital beds right now. I think this is very aggressive and very, very optimistic. I think it's likely that this won't happen and that it'll get pushed back they'll reschedule it to September, October timeframe. You know, in a best case scenario, I think we could get most people vaccinated by the fall. And if that happens and we get some sort of app or a ID card or something that you could prove to show, look, I'm vaccinated, then maybe this would be open to vaccinated people to actually go to the conference, and then an online version could be available to people who can't come. I'd be very surprised if this actually happened in July. But it is scheduled. And the IGF Awards ceremony will be July 21st, and the deadline for submission is February 1st. So that's what we're working with. I like online stuff too, but man, I wanna see some people and hug some people again. Oh, there it is. $75 regular entry fee. $25 for students. I haven't even read the rules. Oh, simple. 4 fields. This won't take long at all. It's more involved than that. Anyway, so that's something I'm going to do or be doing probably. I'm probably going to do this. Integrate some Twitch stuff into the game. Just like my friend here, Valiant Cheese's game, Hive Time does. Which, by the way, Valiant, you got a cool shout out from, what was it, PC Gamer? About your Twitch integration? I thought that was really cool. Yeah, I miss him too. I think next stream, I'm already talking about next stream because I'm wiped out. I should have this done before next stream, at least one biome. So maybe then we'll work on another biome and see, or maybe some props that I can put in there that kind of go with the icy theme. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm working on Act 2 here, right? Act 2 for the game is going to be in a different area. This act, this is what I'm calling Act 1, happens in this sector, this area. Here's the map, right? Oh, there's the new ghost shader with the scan lines on it. I like that. Looks cool. So you've got 4 sectors and then a boss level, right? Act 2 will be another map similar to this with another 24 levels, 4 sectors, but a different theme to all the levels, all the art and everything. There'll be different enemies. So I'm starting that work on Act 2 with this, right? This wall stuff. I need a different visual look, and I'm thinking ice worlds. Act 1 was all about red enemies shooting fireballs, hot laser beams. Act 2 is going to be icy world, maybe freeze rays, new enemy types that do freezy cold stuff. Right? Act 3 it'll be something else. The void, something dark and ominous, right? So this wall art, dust particle systems, new props, it may seem like it's just I'm stalling. Like I'm putting off the hard work, right? But this is actually necessary. I'm kind of creating these art assets so that when I get into Act 2, when I get into actual coding, I'll have a direction. And so some of this is sort of exploratory art. I'm trying to figure out what the theme of Act 2 is going to be. I think it's going to be Ice World, so I'm making some icy art and icy particle systems and icy props, and I'm thinking about that and to help me design it, basically. And then maybe next stream I'll work on this some more, because the more I listen to the sound effect, the placeholder sound effect that I have in there now, the less I like it. And so I definitely need to put something else in there, and that could be fun to watch next time. Just working on some quasi-musical sound effects, sound design type stuff. Yeah. So I think that's gonna be it for today. Thanks for dropping in, everybody. We had a bunch of people here today, and I appreciate all of you. It was really great hanging out with everybody today. This is the first stream I've done this year, and I started out the stream just trying to get back into it, and it's been a challenging week, to say the least. And coming off of Christmas and with COVID and everything, I took some time off, and it's been tough to get back into this game development mode, but I feel like I've accomplished it. I feel like I'm back in it, and it's big thanks to you guys. So if you want to know more about the game, go to gravityace.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Steam, Itch, all the places. I'm going to make a YouTube video with some tips, hopefully this coming week. So subscribe and look out for that. And give me a follow on Twitter. I post screenshots and GIFs and cool stuff of what I'm working on in between streams. And I will see you guys soon on the next stream. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later.